Have you heard of Jocko, the Navy SEAL lieutenant commander who wakes up every day at 4:30 to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and work out? Who leads the company echelon front in teaching executives about organization styles and leadership? Who wrote the best-selling book Extreme Ownership and How Navy SEALs Lead and Win? With this mindset and this charismatic figure putting all the answers out, I decided to read the book and take a look at what we should take away from this and what would be valuable as we become better leaders. If I was to summarize this entire book up in one quick little phrase, is that you own absolutely everything and there is absolutely no one else to blame. That is kind of the definition here of extreme ownership and what he talks about the entire time. If ever there is a problem, if ever there is a fault, or if there's ever a mishap, he was always the first one to say, hey, this is me, this is my fault, I need to fix that. And that is pretty much summarizes the entire book. If you're to take any lesson away, you need to take away that one. Jocko does a great job of going through improving this. And he has this very standard format where he starts with a military example, the lesson that you should be learning, and then a business example afterwards. So we're going to go through, I think, the best 4 of them for you. The first lesson he brings up is there are no bad teams, only bad leaders. So it's not the team's fault that's failing, it's the leader's fault that's failing. And this feeds right back into that extreme ownership. He brings up an example of when 2 SEAL teams were competing during Hell Week, and one was doing not so great, always falling behind, and then there was a superstar team. He switched the leaders, and suddenly the performance changed dramatically. And so it kind of goes to his mind of why it is so important to have this great leader and evidence that this happens. And he brings up another business example of this as well. His next lesson, I think, shows how we're cut from the same Navy cloth, because I talk about this all the time. We are all leaders, from the CEO to everyone else on the company. It doesn't mean you have to have a director or manager or VP title. You could have any title at the company. You are still a leader and responsible for getting things done. And he brings this up several times in his book about people being responsible for their lanes and being able to see not just what they're doing, but the bigger picture and all those different things. So as a leader, it's your job to make sure people above you are being leaders, your peers are being leaders, and the people you are in charge of are also being leaders. His third lesson is it's not what you preach, it's what you tolerate. So you can be a very charismatic person. You can go around giving great speeches, but if the people you manage, if your peers continue to do small things that are detrimental to your organization, your goals, and your cultures, just this one time, just these few times, just all the time, it builds up and it is going to drastically hurt your goals. He brings up this also as more for himself, to start with himself. And he has most famously been known for waking up at 4:30 and taking a picture of his watch and posting it to Instagram. Not because it's a big thing, but it's that he doesn't tolerate himself missing out on this. It's his discipline and showing through that so that he can build up to something bigger. And he presents to you that you should be taking a look at this too. Now, Admiral McRaven also has a similar thought where he talks about making your bed every single morning when you wake up. It's those little things that start you off into doing something great. The fourth lesson is relax, look around, and make a call. So even in the most complex situations, whether in his examples of combat or in business, many things are happening and things need to be done. There's too many people that get caught in this decision paralysis where they're spending way too much time being concerned about everything going right. 9 times out of 10, things are already going wrong. And if you don't act at all, they'll get much worse. So this push for action is an important thing he brings up. Partly because this also means you have to keep a very clear strategy on what to do. So if what your peers should be doing, what your bosses should be doing, the people you manage, they should all be able to quickly understand, take a look around, and make a decision and not be afraid of doing so. All these lessons build into the fact that You are in charge of making things happen. There's no way you can just push all these things off to someone else. You can try, but it will not allow you to be successful. And I think this is a great lesson in life, a thing to remember. And that is why I really have enjoyed this book. It has really kind of reset what I have thought for a long time. Since I have worked with SEALs in the past, I've seen these behaviors before. I agree with lots of these lessons. It's really great to see these put down in writing, so I was able to review them and see them again. Again, if you have any other books that you recommend that I read and present, I'm going to be talking about some more of them. But until then, have a great one.